You are now tuned in to the excellence of execution, welcoming Paul, DF, and your co-host, Marley.
We are back. This is going to be the most powerful.
Paul, the way you look at me sometimes,
Is
it's
it like
admiration?
my soul? Or is it admiration?
It's beautiful.
I'm trying to look at people in the eyes and really be present. That's something I've been focusing on.
Well,
Sometimes I'm on my phone too much, and this gives me an opportunity.
I got a little tingle going right now. In my
How about
tummy.
that for a start to a show?
That is all about the energy right there, Paul. And I knew that coming into this office, so I'm not surprised.
Didn't know I gave tingles, but anyways, that's a whole other episode right there.
It's you and me, baby.
All right, Dan. Well, we can't forget about.
Right. I'm sorry. I was really thinking about what you said in our last episode.
Okay.
About what we have in common. That's been on my mind.
And what is it? What do we have?
There's
in
a
common?
lot of things. I just don't know if I have enough time right
Besides
now to talk
being
about
born
it.
on
Plus,
the
I don't want to.
Okay, we don't want to hear you talk too much. Can you introduce her, please?
Why don't you introduce her?
No, I'm bad at introducing.
No, you're not.
You know what? I'm going to take the bull by the horns and just introduce myself.
I really wanted to say Frances Hinojosa.
There you go.
And tell us about.
That's like Frances coming over for dinner to our house and serving herself. Like, what are we talking about?
I would
make an introduction. Let's go.
If anyone knows me, I'd probably jump in the kitchen and make dinner for you guys first in your own house. That's just the way I am. So
you need a proper introduction. This is someone who is such of a large female figure in the mortgage industry.
Perhaps godmother.
Perhaps the godmother of mortgages.
I like that.
I
like
do
that
like
title.
That's the vibe. That's the energy.
The fairy godmother of mortgages. Someone that I've had the opportunity to see at multiple events. I know you and Dan have. We don't want to skip too far, but
all our stories.
The amount of accolades and awards and woman in influence. It is someone that we've really wanted to have on the pod, and we had to wait till we had
perhaps
our
the
room
future
up.
Marley.
Perhaps, and someone
Maybe.
that Marley can aspire to be.
I love it. Yeah, I
the
definitely
fairy
would
godmother
be.
of mortgages. Frances, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me here. I'm really excited.
Are you?
Yeah, I am, because Daniel brought this up down in Austin. We were on the Scotia trip, and I'm like, what did I tell you? I'm all in. When are we going to do this?
100%.
Let's go, because I'm all about meeting fantastic people, and I think you guys are in that fantastic people club. It's your energy. Like, we kind of alluded to that at the beginning of it. I'm very cognizant about people's energies, and I love good energy around me. And that's what life's about, right? Surrounding yourself with the right people and kind of gelling, and the conversation should be very simple to go through.
Yeah.
So, we hit it off down in Austin. Should
Austin, Texas. Yeah, tell us about how you met
I think
Dan.
you're gonna have to tell it because I was a little bit
Looped?
Yeah.
I don't think
he
you
doesn't
were
remember it?
looped. I don't think you
I
were.
was a little looped up. For sure.
Okay.
It's a Scotia event.
It's a Scotia event,
Please
but I don't think
spit on me more.
I've seen worse. You were upright walking and you were cognizant, so you weren't that bad. Okay, you were holding
7
your
out
own.
of 10.
Yeah. But I think it was day 3, day 2 into the trip. We're all after brunch, and people are going off and doing their this tour and that tour and activities. And Daniel comes. I can't remember who you're with.
Mickey. I was with Mickey.
Mickey, and you're like, I don't know what we should do. And I think we'll go to the pool at the hotel. Well, just so happens the day before I skipped out of one of the events, because this is what I do. If I don't feel the energy, I'm not going.
You do you, girl.
Yeah. So we went over to the other hotel. What was that?
The W.
The W. We went to the rooftop, and it was just
Good time?
good time, like great time. So he's like, I'm going to that pool, and I'm like, no. You guys don't fit up in the grandpa pool. You need to go over the W. Trust me. And you saw me that night. What did you tell me that night when you saw it?
It was the best. It was Vegas and Texas.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Vegas and Texas.
Yes. But see, it's all about reading the energy of people
right.
and understanding what energy they need to thrive.
Even though he looks like
That's
a grandpa,
super
you
important.
don't want to party with grandpas.
Oh, stop.
I was limping too.
Marley loved that. She's been waiting. She's been waiting. No, I love that. So this was a reward trip for Scotiabank. Correct?
Yes.
And so you have to be high up there doing lots of volume, good contributor with them to be there, right?
Good contributor with them, top producer with them. But I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, to lead in that question, to be a top producer, I think ultimately the most success you have in business is just loving what you do.
That's right.
It truly is simple as that. It's having fun.
Yeah.
And again, going back to that whole energy thing, I knew walking in here today, I'm like, I'm pumped to do this podcast because I feel the whole energy in the office.
Yeah, that's
like
good.
Marley meeting you for the first time, right? Like walking around, meeting all your other agents and staff. You have that vibe and you have that energy. And I think when you elevate your energy to that level in anything you do, especially in mortgages or the brokerage that you guys are running, you're ultimately going to attract that same energetic clients, right? other agents, other staff, and that's what's going to make you successful. It's that high energy vibration. You guys got that going on here. I'm telling you. You do.
I love what you bring. I think
vibration.
the leadership that you bring, people must be blessed to work for you. Talk to us a little bit about Tribe. I love that name as well.
Thank you.
So is that something you came up with or collaboration with partners? Walk us through that.
I think it was, I shouldn't say I think I know. It was a collaboration of both with my two business partners. So Peter and Glenn, there's three of us that run the firm.
Three best friends?
Three best friends.
That anybody could ever ask for?
That anyone could ever ask for. Three wildly different personalities
Sounds familiar.
Does that sound familiar?
Oh, yeah.
Three wildly different personalities that really do balance each other out in a lot of great ways. When we knew we wanted to start our brokerage, we knew that we wanted to come up with something different of a name. Luckily, again, knowing people, one of my business partners knew someone that worked for a very big brand agency in Toronto that did a lot of like large companies that said, hey, you know what? We'll have fun with it and we'll do it for you. So it was quite the exercise. You sat down with this branding company for a couple of days on and off. They did it with us. They did it with them. They got a feeling of our vibe, what we're looking at doing with the company, asking us key questions. And then from there, they shortlist a couple of names. Fun story. Tribe was actually cut off the first edition of the names.
Oh, really?
And the reason being, it was big for me. The URLs weren't available, the domains.
Ah, okay. Makes
so
sense.
Tribe Financial was already taken, and to me, no, it was tribefinancial.com was taken.
Okay.
There was tribefinancial.ca, but I wanted the .com, right?
Yeah.
Like, makes sense. So fast forward, we were still humming and hawing on this, and my one business partner, Glenn, said, you know what? Why don't I just reach out to the .com and see if it's available? And it was a company in Utah.
Wow.
They weren't even operating at the time, and they said, sure, $500 US, it's all yours. And I'm like,
Best deal you ever made.
start the car, write the check, transfer it.
Start the car. What a deal. That's awesome.
What a deal.
That's a really
and
good
so,
story.
it's one of those where things in life, when it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
So it really was meant to be. And, the name really speaks to the culture at our company. It's not a brokerage. It's more of a community. I don't like to say it's a network, but we allow each individual to sort of be their own energy.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's really super important in our industry is we don't want to mold everyone to be that sort of, I call it the Ken and Barbie of mortgages, right?
Yeah.
It has to be a one mold and that's it. And this is the way you do mortgages. I think people like dealing with real people, and everyone's different with what their realness is, and that's okay. So it's allowing them to be themselves in that community, but at the same time, the collaboration.
Of course.
Which I'm sure you guys see this as well with your firm. That is huge with running a successful brokerage, is ensuring that everyone feels that they belong. No pun intended. Our tagline is "You belong" with our company.
Yeah, I saw the video. It was great.
Yeah. Which to me is super important. I think especially in this day and age of what we're feeling out there in the industry, what we're feeling out there in the economy, our clients and, the people that work for us and work with us really want to feel that collaboration, and they want to feel like they belong. They want to be able to express who they are, what they feel, and they don't want to be judged for it. They want to be shamed for it. They want to feel that sense of community all around.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
That was incredible. I'm like in awe. Like, you guys hiring?
Shh. We can talk. We can talk
Frances,
afterwards.
something that I just
so
put
much
together.
for your son over there.
Yeah,
something I just put together.
As you're rubbing your eye, we're on camera. It's not just. It's not just
itchy, Paul.
It's not just a face for radio anymore. You're on video now.
It's itchy. Frances.
It's the tears of joy coming out. I brought him to tears.
Frances.
Are you gonna write a song?
I just put it together.
Oh, here it is.
Okay.
One of our top private lenders, and unilaterally, all of our lenders have name dropped Tribe before.
Okay.
Just in a very positive light. But Oz Capital, who
Sweet
is
God,
very,
sweetheart.
very close to us, often speaks to your culture, your ability to do amazing business, and he often puts Tribe on the same pedestal as Clear Trust, which is such an incredible honor now that we know you on a personal level. And I always say this in pretty much every episode, the unity of mindset and clarity between yourself and us is just so evident.
Yeah.
And listening to you speak is very rewarding, in my opinion, and extremely humbling.
Thank you.
And that was really
It's
excellent.
very complimentary to be put in the same sentences you.
And same, but I can clearly see it. No pun intended. Clear trust, right? I can clearly see it that you guys are doing the right thing, and I'm a firm believer in, like, why don't we take care of each other? Like, Paul, you and I talked about this right at the very beginning about the abundance that's out there. Like, having that mindset of not that competition mindset, of more of that collaboration and understanding. Again,
like
energy.
Up,
Energy attracts energy. Like, we alluded to this beginning. I've never had a Clear Trust client come to me. You've never had a Tribe client come to you. And it'd be very rare that would ever happen. Yeah. I had this conversation with Ron Butler. Him and I are good friends too, and we always joke about this. I never get a Butler client, and he doesn't get a Tribe client, because the right people are going to be attracted to the right people at the end of the day. But that really starts in your culture and your company,
of course.
And so, yeah, you guys are, again, clearly doing the right thing too with your culture, and I could see it and feel it coming in here.
Yeah, and we're just getting started. So to have companies like yourself or a Butler to aspire, or to look at and say, what are the best things that they're doing? Because that helps with growth. You need to also look at those that have set the proper standards and look. And even though we want to be and create our own footprint, I think it's looking up to what you've built and the way that the words you use, the community and sense of belonging and the energy. To us, that's something that we want to aspire to continue to do. So, I mean, it is, we want to be side by side, in my opinion, anyways. That's the way I look at things.
Yeah, because ultimately, where this helps? It helps with the industry as a whole.
100%.
I mean, I'm going to preach the converted here, but, clients should be dealing with mortgage brokers.
I agree
as well.
Wholeheartedly. You guys all have the same background as I do. You have the banking background. We can talk from that arena because we've been there, done that, and we could see it. Mm-hmm. As mortgages have evolved over the years, it's becoming highly complex. I mean, how many times have you had a conversation with a client and they're like, okay, well, what can we do? And it depends. Like, it really depends. And it's not just dependent on the application. Right. It's dependent on, tell me what's important to you in your house. Goals, yep. Tell me what's important to you when, in this day and age, especially, what's important to you when it comes to monthly cash flow in your home. What are your goals with the property? Making sure that you're not positioning the client in a type of product where it could possibly put them in harm's way moving forward. Yep. And clients I'm seeing, or you could see the traction of how many more clients are going to brokers. They're starting to realize that, hey, I need to be lining myself up with a reputable broker. So, my goal is to create that standard in the industry like you guys are doing. And essentially you want to elevate everyone in the industry to be performing at that level.
Change the former thought process that you go there after a bank or they're a B option and really say that we're doing good business and we care about our clients. That's the most important thing.
Like, how many times have you guys come across a file on your desk where the client's come in a year after renewing it, let's say into a private or something else, and you're like, why didn't you talk to me first? We could have did this, and this. It's really unfortunate to see those in our industry that are still very short-sighted on the fact of the person in front of them is just a transaction and a commission check, as opposed to a relationship that you should be cultivating long-term. I know with myself that my own success with my business is being able to say no to clients sometimes and being comfortable with that, knowing who aligns with me and who doesn't, and always doing the right thing for the consumer at the end of the day, and not be short-sighted that, again, it's just a dollar figure and it's not a relationship. Relationships in this industry matter.
They're everything.
And I feel like clients really appreciate you, even if you turn them away. They have respect for you because you were honest with them. Right. So, and that can bring referrals, and I feel
it does. No, it totally does.
You're gonna whisper.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. But no, you're totally absolutely right. I think, my favorite line I'll say to clients sometimes is, I don't want to waste your time. You see that? Like, I'm not saying you're wasting my time. I don't want to waste your time. And here are the reasons why I don't want to waste your time, because I feel this, and this is far better for you.
Right.
I'm putting the onus on serving them,
That's right.
not them wasting my time. I don't ever believe a client ever wastes my time. It's up to me to control that transaction, right? Too many brokers will gripe. How many times do you hear, I worked so hard for the client and I lost the client. Don't they appreciate how much work? It's not up to them to appreciate
That's
it.
Right.
You're there to serve them. You're getting it backwards.
Yeah.
It's your job too.
It's
at
your
the
job.
End of the day, it is your job.
It is your job.
What are you guys?
Was that loud enough?
What are you, no, not really.
You're deep in thought. I feel like there's like some thought process
I'm deep in thought,
there.
Francis. I'm just enjoying myself right now.
Nice.
You know,
Maybe you're the personality.
I know you're quiet at this podcast. You were saying I was quiet.
I'm doing a lot of learning, a lot of listening.
Yeah.
I think that when I joined the broker space, which was in 2019, I didn't want customers or borrowers to say that they're using a broker because they were denied at the bank, or because, you know, there was fraud that was happening, right, because they could, you know, come up with, you know, documentation, because I killed myself in the beginning to cultivate those relationships, do the right thing for the customer, and build a real business that is long term. Yeah. Once again, speaking to not being short-sighted. And the stigma in the streets about brokering was just that it's all garbage. But that also could be because I was coming from the bank. Now, COVID has really helped the broker space be elevated into something that it was not just merely because banks weren't taking appointments. You needed somebody mobile. You needed somebody to come see you. You needed somebody that could work with electronic signatures, which is great. But at Clear Trust, we're really working on integrity.
Yep.
And I find that lenders love us because they understand that integrity for us is at our core. Mm-hmm. And it's so evident in what you're saying right now, that it's just all about doing the right thing. And you can say no to a borrower.
Totally, you can.
And money is just a byproduct of you doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
And the money will come.
Oh, totally it will. Totally it will. I've had so many circumstances where I've turned down clients. Not turned them down because they didn't qualify, but turned them down because it wasn't the right thing for the solutions I had didn't pair up. I knew there were solutions out there that were outside of our scope because we can't deal with everyone. Sure. Gave them basically the playbook of, okay, you're going to go in the bank and you're going to do this, ask these questions, bring it back to me. I'll review it. I still haven't charged a fee to do it. But that same client will call me up when the mortgage comes up for renewal. That same
100%.
client will still refer over their friends and family, right? Like, people appreciate the integrity. People appreciate being, you know, I have this thing I've been saying lately. I think as simple as when you run a firm or you deal with clients, it's as simple as people want to be seen, heard, and understood. That's it. It's very easy. It's very simple as that. Like, Paul, at the beginning, we were chit-chatting, you were saying about looking people in the eye. Mm-hmm. You know, that starts with that being seen, heard, and understood. You know, I'll digress here. I started to do this recently because I like doing little sort of psychological hacks or seeing how it changes the energy around. I'm very curious about human behavior. So this weekend, I was grocery shopping and I'm like, you know what? Every time I pass somebody, I'm going to actually look them in the eye and smile. You don't know how many people like did a double take and looked and their face would just light up and smile. We don't anymore do that. And to me, it's a little sad. We don't take the time to have the conversation and get to know individuals, get to know our clients. And if you do as a broker, just understand people want to be seen, heard, and understood, and take more time to listen than to speak. It'll make you a far more successful broker than you ever have before.
You guys want to hear something crazy?
Yeah, tell me.
So I do business planning with all of my centers of influence. Nice. So we sit down, we break a little bit of bread, we talk about previous year, we talk about what we're going to do the following year, plan, and hopefully execute. And I did one yesterday with one of my top realtors, and I asked him, like, what kind of activities are you going to be doing in 2024? And he looked at me dead in the face and he said, when I go into an elevator, I'm going to smile and say hello to every single person.
Brilliant.
Because in 2023, he onboarded 2 customers just by saying hello in the elevator.
Totally.
And then I reflected on myself. When I'm in the elevator, I don't talk to anybody. I'm just...
Yep.
And I said to myself as an activity for 2024, whenever I get into an elevator or walk by somebody in the street, I'm going to smile and say hello.
Yeah.
Because it's so not Torontonian of us to do that.
Yeah, it's not.
You know?
It's not.
It's not.
People talk about it all the time.
But I'm going to try it.
People in Toronto are built differently.
Yeah.
They're miserable.
Oh, there's the nuggets we're looking for, Marley.
Oh,
sorry. No, that's good.
I'm
that's
just saying, but
that's
honestly,
the
2 clients he got from saying hello.
I was in Florida and I literally went for a walk and everybody said hi to me. And I was in shock because I'm not used to that. Yeah.
Yep.
So when I come home, I'm like so excited. I'm like, hi, like I just got back from a vacation. I'm all happy.
And you're engaged.
And then everybody's miserable, and I'm just like, smile. Like I know it's raining outside.
But here's the thing, though, Marley. What I've learned over the years: don't let that damper the sunshine that you give.
Yeah,
and don't let it make you stop doing it and keep doing it, because the more of us that do that, it's little ripple effects.
It's infectious.
It is infectious. It totally is infectious.
That's my third time saying it on the third episode today. I might get cut from the show.
Infectious?
Yeah.
But it is infectious.
Good word.
It is good work. Like those things do matter. It's the little things. Here's the problem sometimes. We're in the business about making money, and there's this constant narrative about hustling hard. I don't believe in the hustle culture at all. I think it's an outdated sort of mantra.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I would like to know.
All hustle, no bull.
Because a lot of I know. I was just going to say.
Because I think in life that it's not hustle hard. I think you need to establish what flow and harmony works for you in your life, and it's not a right size fits all. Like you should have routines, you should have goals, but you also should make time for play, and you should also make time for fun, and you should also make time for relaxation and reflection as well.
Balance.
You balance. Like we are, as human beings, we're not machines where we have to be operating 24/7. Burnout can happen as well. And it also as well, when you're hustling hard, you don't think clearly. And, you know, some of my greatest epiphanies or some of my greatest thoughts are moments in time where I'll go up to my cabin and I'll literally sit there for hours and not say a word. It's almost like meditating, but not quite. Like it's just sitting there.
It's very stoic. It's very like stoicism speaks to removing yourself from the hustle and bustle.
Totally.
And that's when you are at your clearest, and that's where you can come up with the best ideas that serve you best, and not enough people do it because they're always in it. Yeah. Where you need to
I think I struggle when I'm in peace or quiet. Like I'll go to the sauna every day and I'll do my yesterday I heard something that was great. I think I took it away was there's 3 types of health: spiritual, mental, and physical. And obviously going to the gym is physical. Spiritually is whatever that person, whether it's, you know, religion, yoga, etc. There's multiple, which I think I'm strong in that area as well. And then there's the mental health. So, you know, what are you doing from a mental health perspective? And that's the balance, right? So going away or being with your thoughts or putting aside time. And I feel like there's sometimes where I don't have my phone or the TV's not on or my kids aren't around, I'm by myself, and I'm like, oh my mind, like I could take some time to think, but I can never just shut it down, you know?
Because there's a 4th protocol that you're missing.
Which is?
Spending time with yourself.
Yeah, which is
soul.
I don't really enjoy that.
So there's spiritual, there's mental, there's physical, but then there's also your soul set. And not a lot of people take the time to actually sit with themselves. Like taking the time to sit alone and actually distinguishing what thoughts are mine and what thoughts are someone else's, right? Like I can see this sometimes with, like, say, brokers that I've coached and mentored, right? How many times have you had a little out and they're having a really bad day and they're just spiraling, they can't get out of it? You know, then it's a moment in time I'll say to them, you need a timeout.
Yeah.
Right? We give timeouts to our kids.
Yeah.
We don't give timeouts to adults. And who's to say that an adult is emotionally regulated enough to recognize the fact that they're letting their emotions take control and it's not the energy themselves?
No one
does. But that is a game changer right there. If you want to take your business to the next level, be reflective inwards and actually be accountable to your own soul and figure out what resonates with you, and take the time to listen to the messiness.
Absolutely brilliant.
Sometimes we're afraid to sit with ourselves because we're afraid of the chatter in our brain, because a lot of the times it's not always like rainbows and sunshine. There's a lot of ugliness that can come up there too. But when you could take the time to actually sit with that and digest it and figure out what you need to keep and what you need to put away, it'll take you to a different level in your focus of what's important in life at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think I reflect. I do a good job on that. Emotional intelligence is high. I think it's just I get bored when I'm just not doing anything. But I don't disagree with you. I think emotional intelligence is a huge factor. I definitely, when there's something in the pit of your stomach, I really dig deep to really understand what that is.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, this morning I'm feeling whatever it is, anxious or this, that, what is it? Because you don't want to just have it. You want to be, okay, that's bothering me. How do I solve it? So I think self-reflection is important. It's just a matter of, but yeah, balance is huge. And that's why I need to go away a couple weeks a year with the fam and just shut down, because I'm always on, right?
Yep.
But it's great. It's all, and that kind of segues into you balance running a business
Yep.
for your clients. You're
Yep.
also a partner in running Tribe.
Yep.
And then you do so much for the community as well. And
Yeah.
so you balance all that, and being a mom
And being a mom.
and a wife. So talk to us a little bit about that, and yourself, clearly, because you spend time
With myself.
with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so some people are like, I'm so busy. And it's like, you're really not busy, because when I look at someone like yourself, who you're fully utilizing 24 hours a day.
I am. I think it started with being very clear of what's important. You got to start there of what's really important in your life.
Point.
And cutting out the stuff that's not. Younger me, Marley, don't take this the wrong way.
No,
but
I'm very impressed right now. I have a lot I could say.
I find that women more than men have a very hard time saying no. Because it's actually like, there's been studies on this. This goes way back, like human evolution, is that we are sort of conditioned, even going back in time, to be the protectors of the house and the caregivers and the rest of it. And it's interesting. They did a study over COVID, and they said the stress levels of women was far more higher than any of the men that were around, because, women intrinsically will be like, okay, there's a problem. Yeah, I'll take care of that. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I'll take care of that. I'll take care of that. We take care of everyone's well-being and emotional health before we do ourselves.
Great point.
Once I've realized that, I'm very clear in my own life as to things that are non-negotiables. Right. So I'm very clear on what's important of things that I want to do. Things I don't want to do, I know I'm very clear to say the hard no's. It's just like, yeah, this is not for me. I'm out. And that's okay. You don't have to do everything. Schedules are super important as well, and protocols. Paul, you probably get this too, right? Like, I have a routine that I do all the time, every day. And I've had someone say to me, well, isn't that boring? I'm like, no, because I fill the fun in now in the time that I have to do the fun things, right? I'm throwing a lot at you, but it's also taking the time to understand the stuff that you're good at and the stuff that you're not good at, right? That I call like the deep dive into your own personal ego.
Yep.
Right. So part of the problem of women of saying yes to everything is the ego trait is not gender specific, right? So women have egos too.
Oh, big time.
Right? You know this, Marley. Right? We like to blame the men and say the men have all the egos. No, women have egos too.
No, we do. I'll take credit for that, for
right?
sure.
We do. But it's like checking yourself and your ego at the door and understanding what's truly you and what's not, coming from a place of love and heart that makes sense to take care of yourself and take care of the people around you.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, like I was going to say when Daniel was like, well, I'll say it now. Just as a female, I don't mean to be like, woe is me, but to hear, I feel like we have this pressure on us to keep up with the men. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some people don't feel like that. I do. I feel like I need to keep up with the top performers at the brokerage, and I need to hustle like they do. And to hear that somebody who is very successful like yourself takes time for yourself is very inspiring, honestly, because I feel that if I'm sitting down and I'm not doing anything, like, what's wrong with me? Why am I doing this? Why am I not out there doing this? Why am I not, doing something around the house? It stresses me out a little. So to hear that you take some time and you have a family with kids and you have your own business, it's very inspiring for sure.
Yeah, no, you have to figure out your own rhythm and what works for you. It's not, you know what? Kudos to the 28-year-old broker that has no family and wants to hustle hard 24/7. Absolutely. My advice to them is please try to find some personal time for yourself too, because you'll need to establish those routines when you're older in life. Take care of your health early on, right? Paul, I heard you say about sauning, right? Like workout, sauna, meditation, all the stuff to take care of your health. I think when we're younger, we take that for granted.
For sure.
And then, and then you hit a certain age and you're like, I think I need to start working out and doing this stuff. And it's not just for the physical, it's for the mental.
100%.
Right? Like those things are super important. It's like a new car. A new car, you can grind that puppy down and run it, 200 kilometers per hour. But man, give it 10 years and it's not going to run the same.
That's right.
Your body's exactly the same. So it's figuring that out and giving yourself permission. And, like I used this term before, giving yourself times out. Like, I know right now at my age, if my emotional bandwidth is not at a certain level, I'm unapologetic by saying I'm giving myself a timeout.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's a great point. It really is. And we always tell people, if you're not in the right headspace, don't answer that phone call.
Take a pause.
Yeah, go do what you have to do, because it takes so many years to build a reputation, and one bad moment to bring it all down.
Clients annoying you, call them back after. Right. Lender pissed you off, take a pause. Right. Call them the next day. Right. There is almost nothing in this world that we do in our business that requires an instant response.
You're right.
Right? We're human beings. And I think I take a lot of this back. Like, man, I'm old, buddy.
Come on.
I am. I'm a little old. But that's okay. I love my age. I love my wisdom. But I mean, I remember starting off in mortgages at the bank. I was a lending manager. I was like 21 years old. This was like in the 90s. I didn't have email. Email didn't exist back in the bank. I remember getting a bank email address when it first got launched, right? Like, I didn't have email. You didn't have smartphones. You had voicemail.
Pager,
like when you left,
you
had a pager. But people back then, the culture, the expectation from clients were different. They knew when the bank was closed.
They didn't bother you.
They didn't bother you. So you had that ability. Me and my husband were talking about this. He's like, man, do you remember the days you could go home at 5 and like
shut it down?
Check out.
You checked out because you had no choice but to check out. You had no laptop to take home. You had no smartphone to look at. Yeah. I think as a society, if you're going to do anything right now, you need to be checking out. You need to create your schedule, whatever that looks like, and say, okay, my hard stop is at this point in the day, and I don't look at anything at all. Or if I'm having a bad day, maybe I need to check out early and look at it with fresher eyes and a fresher mind the next day. A lot of relationships can be broken up by heated emotions.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
I don't disagree. I think depending on where you are in your career, sometimes you can't shut her down at 5 if you're really trying to build your business. But I think the balance piece and knowing your limitations is very key.
Totally.
Yeah.
And communicating that with your referral partners. I think in the most part, most referral partners can clearly understand your expectations and your working hours, and they'll respect it.
Yeah. For the most part, I feel like it's sometimes, for me, that's why I enjoy coaching my daughter's soccer team so much. I say this all the time. Nice. It's like an hour where you can call someone back and be like, sorry, I didn't have my phone. I was, coaching my daughter's team, and they'll understand. Where for the most part, you almost feel like if you're missing a phone call, for me, I always try to get back to them within a couple of hours. But again, it's one of those things where there's a lot of people in this world that if you miss their phone call, they're on to the next. And once again, you're at a different stage in your career, and not so much a client, but there's also that. So I think people that are starting out, you picking up your phone, sometimes people work with brokers just because, or a mortgage person because they're the ones picking up their phone.
I guess.
I've heard that sometimes people stop using someone because they don't answer their phone. But again, that's a small piece of this.
Yeah, but that's a small piece. But I would guess on answering the phone would have to be a consistent thing, not a one-off.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll tell you another thing that I tell our agents to do, and a little tip when I do our coaching. Rather than saying, I'm sorry I missed your call, say, I thank you for your patience. Don't apologize. Thank people and give gratitude instead. You're saying the same thing, but it changes the positioning of the phone call at that point. It's showing appreciation in the other person.
Brilliant.
As opposed to apologizing for your own behavior that the person will then think, well, maybe they did something wrong, right? Like, it changes the whole perspective.
Mindset. It's brilliant. I learned so much from you today.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
This is great. I feel like
I have like automated messages that I'm gonna go change after this. Sorry, I missed your call. Can I talk later?
I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll call you back.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't do anything wrong.
Thank you for your patience.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of what you're saying can go over a lot of viewers' heads. And I think that if they really take a moment and understand what mental fortitude can do for you as a person, what spending time with yourself can do for you as a person, what understanding what your wants and needs are, it'll change your life. And to speak from experience personally, I had to go through a very personal, tragic life event to really understand who I am and what I want, to become more clear in both my personal and professional life. And it's made me understand things so much differently. and it makes life so much more enjoyable just to give gratitude to everything that you have and don't have.
Right.
And it makes your life so much clearer to just know what you want, what you need. And timeouts are something I didn't even know I did until right now. Yep. Because I know that when I'm starting to like tweak a little bit, for example, either with a lender or personally, I just need a minute to just step away and not talk to those people or to those lenders, because I know I just need a minute for myself. And what's good with me personally, I know I'm talking about myself, which is kind of, what's the word when you talk about yourself?
I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
No, I like this.
I love spending time with myself. Like I genuinely enjoy it.
That's the point in life.
Like I love it.
Yes.
You know, and it's, I don't know if people like really enjoy spending time with themselves. I think people are always, you know, looking to be a part of something else perhaps. But when I'm with myself, I'm so in tune with who I am.
And that, you know? And that right there has made you very successful in what you do.
I don't know about
right?
very successful, but I just really, I really hope, and what I'm trying to get at is that coming from you, like as I'm listening to you, it's like really resonating, and I could see why it could go over somebody's head, to really just take a moment and understand what you're saying, because you're speaking from the heart and from 1,000% of experience. Yeah. And I feel it.
You feel it?
I feel
Good.
it.
Yeah.
The energy?
Yeah.
I feel it.
It's good. You
It's
know,
vibrating.
you know, ultimately when you're talking about this mindset and all this stuff, it's if we take a time to actually do what makes human beings, which is the essence of our soul and our emotional bandwidth, if we take the time to understand that, you know, emotional intelligence, emotional cue, like those things are, I'm a firm believer that is what's going to make or break the difference of you being successful as a broker or not. It's understanding yourself as a human being and understanding how human beings interact and react will allow yourself to come from a more grounded place when you do business and ultimately make you more successful.
I couldn't agree more. What an incredible episode. We could be talking for so long,
Forever.
but thank you so much for coming.
Frances, you're the
We
boy.
had a
Yes,
blast. I
thank
learned
you.
so much, and I feel like enlightened.
Me too.
I know, me too. Like I'm going
walking-
to the sauna right now. Like I'm leaving. Bye. I need to take a moment for myself. I do that all the time, but
Well, thank you for this conversation. This was great.
Thank you.
It really
Frances.
was.
Thanks, Frances.
Thanks,
Really,
guys.
honestly.